Welcome to Fives Unfiltered. This is a podcast that allows separated dads to tell their story. We've got a guest today. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us your name, age, how many kids you got?
Yeah, so my name's Gary. I've just turned 39. I've got one son who's 4 years old.
Okay. So how long have you been separated from your ex?
Just under 2 years now. We were together for 19,
Okay.
so fair while.
So that's quite a while. So around 19, 20 or so years ago, take us back to the day that you met. Can you remember it?
So we met online before
I was
it
gonna
was
say,
a massive thing. It was just I can't remember what chat room it was, but we got talking, got each other's numbers, started texting and kind of ringing a bit. It was before Tinder and all of that good stuff. But I think we met face to face. It was probably 8 or 9 months down the line. We met in central London outside Harrods.
Okay.
Because her mum wanted to be sure that I weren't some sort of nutter. So she wanted to make sure that there was security and lots of people around.
How old was you roughly back then? I'm guessing it would be about 20s. Early 20s.
Yeah, about 18.
Okay. And once you'd met up, how did the relationship sort of develop from there? Was there any particular place that you went once you met up?
No, so the day that we met, we went to a restaurant. So me, her, and a mum, which was a little bit weird after the first date with her mum sat there as well. Went to a musical, so we went to see Blood Brothers.
Did a mum come as well?
My mum was there as well. Yeah, it was a very surreal situation, to be honest. But so not only did I have to impress her, I had to impress her mum as well. And then we kind of just had a bit of time in London, and then her mum came back up north, so they were living in Sandbach at the time.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it was long distance for a little bit.
So, how was, as you said, it's long distance. Was it simply communicating and you'd meet up every so often?
Yeah, so we'd talk on the phone every day, text, phone calls. And then when we kind of wanted to see each other, for some unknown reason, we got the National Express bus. It took like 6 hours every time to travel. So I'd go from London to Birmingham to Crewe. And then I'd go and stay at her mum's house because she was still living with her mum, or she'd do it kind of the opposite way as well. And then we realised that we've got trains. So we got the train instead, which was a lot quicker. We'd done that for about a year, which was hard work, to be fair, but
That's quite a commitment, that 6 hours.
Yeah. Oh, it was an absolute nightmare. Like just sitting on the bus, it just dragged, because obviously driving through London was the first issue. Then sitting on the motorway, then the driver having to stop, and then getting off at Birmingham, waiting for another one, and doing it was just a nightmare. And then I think one day I came up for her 18th birthday, I think it was. Went to Manchester. I just decided that I wasn't going home. So,
Really?
Yeah. So we just kind of decided there and then that I weren't going to go back. So called my mum, came back, got all my stuff, and then moved into a mum's house.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so got myself a job within a week of being up here, maybe if that, to be fair, and kind of haven't moved back to London since.
Fair enough. So, how was that initially living at a mum's house? Your partner.
It was actually all right, to be fair. So the house was big enough that we didn't really get in each other's way, but her and her mum were quite close, so we all spent quite a lot of time together. If I'm honest, her mum didn't know that I was moving in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so at the time, her mum was in hospital, and we kind of had to wait to tell her because of the reason that she was in hospital. So when she came back home,
You're there.
I was there. Luckily she'd already met me and she liked me, but we kind of told her, and I don't think it went down very well. but she didn't kind of really say no, so I just kind of stayed, to be honest.
Oh. At least it sort of worked out.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, how long did that situation continue? You're about 19, you're living at her mum's house.
We were there for a while, to be fair, like a good number of years. It was kind of quite easy because my missus went, or my ex-wife, she went to uni as well. Mm-hmm. So while she was at uni, it made sense that she kind of stayed at home. I think she tried to stay in halls for a month or so. It didn't really work out for her. She didn't enjoy it, so she moved back home. So while she was in uni, we stayed there. Her mum was happy enough. Her mum was single as well and living on her own, so it gave her people in the house, so it kept her company as well.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, I can't remember how many years it was, but it was a fair amount before we moved out.
And the relationship while you was living at her mum's, was it good? Like,
so between us, it was good. So we'd have arguments, but a lot of that stemmed around her mum because her mum suffers with bipolar. So when she got ill, she would focus on me quite a lot. She'd say things and do things that my fuse is quite short. So I would bite back, that would cause an argument, and then my ex was kind of in the middle, which looking back on it now was difficult for, I imagine, for her. And that was kind of a thing that continued all the way through the relationship, to be honest. But we'd always sort it out, but it obviously caused tension.
you can imagine there'd be a lot of tension.
Oh, yeah,
An extra person in the house.
And I get, like, looking back now, I've done a lot of thinking over kind of the last 2-3 years. It must have been weird for her mum. It must have been weird for my ex-wife because me and her mum are arguing. She doesn't know which side to take, and so she was kind of caught in the middle, and that caused arguments between us because I would say kind of expect her to take my side because of the things that were being said. But at the same time, I now get it's her mum. She's going to stand up for her mum as well. So it was a bit of a difficult situation. But on the whole, it was a good relationship between all of us.
So at what point did you... I'm guessing you moved out and moved in together.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I think we just... So her mum wanted to downsize. So she lived in a fairly big house, but it was too big for her. We obviously needed our own space. So we started renting our first house, moved to a place called Crewe.
Oh, yeah.
So she worked in Crewe, I worked in Crewe. It made sense. And it's only kind of the next town over, so we weren't a million miles away. So moved into our first house that wasn't the best house, to be fair. There was a lot of work that needed doing to it, but some landlords don't want to pay the money. So we were there for a few years. And then we moved to a bigger house that was slightly better. Took the dog with us. And then eventually we bought a house. I think that was 2014, maybe a bit later.
Okay. But just take it back a bit to when you moved in your first house, the rental. I'm guessing you was there for around a year, maybe a couple of years.
Yeah.
How was it finally having your own place with your ex-wife or just your partner at the time?
So it was good. So we could spend our own time together. We had our own space. Dog was happy. I think that the only, again, the kind of big trend going all the way through is her mum used to drink quite a lot. So when she used to drink, she'd find a way of coming to the house. I remember one night she got drunk, got a taxi, and just started banging on the door, trying to get in the house, which was mental, to be honest. But other than that, there weren't really that many instances of that, luckily. But just being in a kind of own space was better for everyone because we weren't on top of each other all of the time.
Did you notice any issues after spending a lot of time with the mum and then being apart? Because she may have got used to even yourself and a daughter being about quite a lot.
So I think for us, there wasn't a major issue. I think it was,
You had each other.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think the biggest issue was for a mum, if I'm honest. So her mum had got quite used to us being there. So she relied on us quite a lot because she had a license, but she lost a lot of confidence because of the illness. So she couldn't drive. She lived in kind of the middle of nowhere. So she'd need us to take her places. So it was always constant phone calls. Can you ring us? Can you ring me? Can you come and take me here? Can you come and take me there? And I think that always caused tension between us because it used to frustrate us both, to be honest. But we'd kind of get a bit annoyed about it and then move on. And we just eventually just done what she asked because it was just easier for everyone, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I can imagine that she really, after spending that much time, enjoyed your company.
Yeah.
Even on the quiet, and then when you left, probably missed both of your company.
It was a big transition for everyone, to be honest. I think more so for her, but
yeah,
bit of a shame.
So was there anything significant happened while you were in your first house?
No. It was pretty simple, to be fair. We both worked. We both worked at kind of similar shifts, so we'd have time away from each other. We had our separate mates as well, which kind of all eventually came together. But it was a nice time. We were happy.
Yeah. And then you transitioned into your next house.
Yeah.
Did you buy that one, or was that another?
So that was a rental as well. We just needed something bigger and better, to be honest. The other one was awful. To be fair, there was a lot of work that needed doing, but we found this other one, so that was good.
How far off is it from when you had your first child? Is that a way away yet?
Fair while, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'd always wanted kids, and it was something that I always wanted to do. But she's got a massive phobia of hospitals, needles, all of that stuff. So it was not an excuse, but she was always worried about that side of it. So we pull it off. And then it was kind of, she wanted to own a house so it was more secure and all of that, which was frustrating, I suppose, but I bought into it because I kind of understood it. Fine, if we're in a rental, it could be difficult and the rug could be pulled from under us at any point. So I think we were in that house for a couple of years as well. I think while we were in that one, I went through a bit of a period of my mental health dip for one reason or another quite quickly. So I was off work for 12 weeks,
Okay.
I think it was. But the business I worked for at the time were really good. They understood, and my managers would come out and see us every couple of weeks, make sure I was all right. And I can't remember exactly what triggered it, to be honest.
No.
Something triggered it, but I think what saved me as well, we bought a new dog because we lost a dog, and then 2 weeks later we bought the dog that I've still got now. That kind of got me through that period as well. So she was at home with me all of the time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm guessing your partner was supportive through that period.
Yeah. She was. She's obviously dealt with her mum on her own because she's got a brother, but a brother kind of distanced himself from a lot of that. So she kind of understood, and she was there for us, and she was really good. To be fair, and again at that point we were still happy. We were engaged at this time as well. So
it seems you've probably been together. What is it? You've had 3 years or so at the mum's, then you had 2 years or a couple of years at your first house. Then you've come into your second house, so you're probably talking around, I don't know, 8 or so years you've been together?
So it may be a bit longer than that, to be fair, because I think it took me 10 years to propose.
Oh, okay.
So, and not that I was forced into it, but she
But you was.
but I was a little bit. She went to the jewellers, she picked a ring, she got me a discount on the ring. And she kind of just said, the ring's there, you just got to go pay for it. So,
That's familiar, that.
So I knew she'd always wanted to get married. I wasn't overly bothered.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. But
If she wants it, you want to make her happy.
Yeah, and I weren't opposed to it. I just wasn't really that bothered, to be honest. But when I got the ring, we were engaged at this time, and so we were happy, and we were planning the wedding then as well.
Yeah. Okay. So you had something to focus on.
Yeah,
something enjoyable to look forward to.
We'll go enjoyable. Yeah.
Okay.
Wedding fairs and.
Yeah, you're in your second house at this point, and you're engaged.
Yeah.
And you've got your new dog, and you've got a wedding to eventually look forward to. So it's all looking
good.
Yes. So what would you say the next significant thing was for you?
The next significant thing from there, I think, was buying the house.
Okay.
So
it's meant to be quite a stressful time, that.
Weirdly, for me and for us, I don't think it was. So we'd gone to see one house. So we found the estate that we knew that we wanted to live on. Went to view the house. We got there. And to be honest, the salesman was just a bit of a div. So we kind of said to him, like, what are you going to give us? Thinking kind of fridge freezers and dishwashers and all that. So he said to us, look, we know our houses are going to sell. So we're not going to give you anything, even right down to a garden gate. So we were like, right, okay. So he told us about another house, same building company, at one of the next towns over. So we were driving to there, and we drove past where the house was. So we thought, right, we'll pull in there. We'll just have a look. Walked in. She knew the saleswoman. They went to school together in college, and so we got talking. She showed us one of the houses that was pretty much built. I think the roof was due to go on kind of 3 or 4 weeks after that. Went and had a look at one that was already built. Right, this is the house. This is the one that we want.
Oh, so you got new build?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went back. Within a couple of days, we put the deposit down. A couple of days after that, we got the mortgage in principle. Everything was fine. Like, people say it's stressful. For us, it wasn't like that. Put the deposit down, got the mortgage, all got accepted. Just watched the house be built.
I suppose as well, if you're buying a new build, aside from what issues there may be people have with new builds, you get to pick. If you get it early enough, you can get to pick the kitchen, the tiles.
Yeah, we weren't that lucky.
Oh, okay. So
when we picked it, walls were up. Most of it was built. The roof was due to go on. So we got to pick the sides, pick the cupboards, and the flooring. There was a couple of things that we wanted to add, like an outside socket, an outside light, change the lighting position, change some of the plug sockets and all of that. They told us no, because it would put the build back by about 2 months, which didn't really understand that, to be honest. Just move the socket up, run the outside light off the socket. It seemed easy enough, but we're like, fine, whatever. It's not a deal breaker. Like, we're not that bothered by it, because a dad owned a building company as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, right, if we need anything majorly, we'll ask a dad.
You can get that sorted.
Yeah, and he was good as well. So he built us a garage, some outside sockets, outside lights, and all of that stuff. So we've always been quite lucky like that. So that was a good, exciting time.
That's good. So I'm guessing after, 6 or so months, you finally got to move in?
Yeah, probably about that. So we moved at night time. So we'd go to work. I had a van for a couple of days. I'd finish work, drive everything from the old house to the new house, put it all in. And then it took a couple of weeks probably to get everything in fully, but then we were in, new furniture and all of that other stuff being delivered. So that was, again, not really that stressful. I quite enjoy driving. I quite enjoy driving vans for some reason. So it was an excuse to just go out in the van.
So how was it when you first finally got into your first place that you now own?
It's a hard feeling to explain, because you've lived in houses before, but it's just a different feeling about owning your own house and owning a new build. All of that stress of, is the boiler going to go? Does the house need rewiring? does it need this? Does it need that? All of that was taken away. It was literally move in, put the furniture in, and go. It was, we liked it. It was comfortable. It was clean. It was in a nice area. The estate was nice. All the neighbours were kind of friendly. So we'd obviously met a few that were already in. One of the neighbours on the estate would, I don't know how, but they got access to some of the yard, and the builders gave them stuff like the passwords on the locks, and was like, if you need anything, just go in and take it. So if we needed bricks or anything dead strange, he'd come out with leaf blowers and all sorts. It was great. He just used to walk around leaf blowing the drives for us. Again, happy, dead nice area, nice friendly people. So relatively happy again at that point.
So you've had quite up to this point, a really pleasant relationship.
Yeah.
And you've had quite a few transitions to different houses and had a significant change moving from London. So what was the next? I know while you were also still planning your wedding, was that the wedding next?
So the wedding was, so that was a great time. So my dad passed away well before we kind of got married. So we got married on his birthday, which fell on a Monday at that time, which was better for us as well because everything was cheaper because it went a weekend. So helpful. Cheers, Dad. I had friends and family come up from London. Church that we got married at was linked to a family. So a nan and granddad, or a great nan and granddad, were buried there. The Bible that was in the church was donated by her family. Lovely little place. We found a nice place to hold the reception. A place called Sandhole Oak Barn. Had a massive lake. Nice. Again, nice. Food was good. Brilliant wedding. Probably one of the best days of my life. Even looking back now, it's still one of a day that I look on quite fondly. And then obviously we went on honeymoon pretty much straight away. I think it was kind of within a couple of days. Went to Greece, which is still one of my favourite places to go now. Love the food, love the people, love the island.
Did you get involved in any of the preparation for the wedding? Or did you?
To a point. So I went to kind of the wedding fairs, and that's just an experience. It's the only way I can describe it is people see you coming. Like, they know that you want things.
They know it's expensive.
And they'll charge whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think the one that stands out for me, we got like a chocolate fountain for the reception. And it was going to be there all day and all night. Got replenished throughout the night, but I think something stupid like £600 or £700. Like, it was award-winning chocolate and this, that, and the other, and great, brilliant. And it got used, but
it's a lot.
£600 for chocolate effectively is what we've just paid. I was like, right, fine, like, we'll get it. But people just, you must walk in and see mug written across your head. It's daft, but I think I made the mistake once of calling it a party, which obviously didn't go down well at all. But it was a good day, and I really enjoyed it. I don't remember a great deal because I was very drunk, if I'm honest. But I would say it's one of the better days of my life.
That's good that you've got that. So now you're in your new house and you've got married. Did you feel any different once you'd come home from your honeymoon and now you're a married couple?
Not any different. I wouldn't have said. A lot less money. Luckily, we were quite lucky. Our parents paid for most of it, if I'm honest. So I say my pocket was lighter. It wasn't, but I knew that they were a lot lighter. But yeah, again, we were happy. There was still the same arguments, kind of around a mum, and we didn't. At the time, I didn't feel that we spent a lot of time in my family. in London, so that was always a bit of a contentious issue, I think, between us of travelling down there. It always seemed to be that my lot would come up to us, so that was always one of my biggest frustrations, and that would always cause quite a row. But again, I think at this point we were still happy. I think things started to change probably about a year or so before COVID, I would have thought. So kind of around the time that we found out she was pregnant. That's when I started to rethink things. Or not rethink things, that's probably the wrong thing to say, but notice things that weren't quite right.
How was it when you found out your ex was pregnant? Like, what?
One of, again, probably the best day of my life, that. So we'd been trying for probably a couple of months. We thought a couple of times that she was, and she wasn't. And then just one morning, I think it was probably October, November time, she called me upstairs and was like, hang on a minute, I'm in the middle of something. And she kept badgering me to come upstairs. I was like, right, she's doing my head in now, so I'm going to go upstairs. She just showed me the pregnancy test, and everything that I was thinking had just gone out of my head. Like, everything from that moment for me changed. That my outlook on life changed. I knew that I was going to be bringing a kid into the world, and everything I do from now on is going to be for him or her. Obviously, we didn't know at the time, so
Yeah.
I was smiling constantly, 24 hours a day.
In the run up to the birth, did you feel any different?
So I think for us, the run up to the birth was always a bit more difficult for us. So we had, I can't remember how long into it was, but we found out that our little one had Down syndrome.
Really?
So our kind of experience was slightly different to everybody else's. There was constant scans, constant doctor's appointments, and that in itself is quite stressful, because when they told us that there was something wrong, or something wrong in inverted commas, the first thing they kind of tell you and show you is, are you sure you want to go ahead with this pregnancy? And you think, I've been waiting for so long. To me, it doesn't matter what he's got or what she's got or what complications there are. We had to have a conversation because it was either going to be Down syndrome or I can't remember the name of the other thing that they said, but effectively, if it was the other thing, they on average, the babies only live till like 10 years old. 10 days old. So that was going to be the only difficult thing. But we found out it was Down syndrome, so kind of the run up to the birth, it was a lot of stress. But then the day that she got induced, we were both just ready for him to be here. Like we'd waited so long, we were so close to having him here. We just wanted him to be here, and so she got induced on the Friday night. It was at 7:00. And he was born following morning at Saturday at 20 to 12. Best day of my life.
Yeah.
But like, just it's surreal and wheeling you through to the delivery room because you hear all the other women screaming and you think, oh God, what is going on here? Like, I can't be in that room while she's screaming. But she done amazing. Like, he was here really quick. I think she was only in active labour for 20 odd minutes.
That is really quick.
Yeah. Like, I was half expecting to be there for days with it being our first.
I said that 20 minutes for the first baby.
Yeah. Just it was bonkers. So they spent more time with her afterwards than it took for him to be here. And I just they kind of chuck him to you and
Is that it?
you're like, right, okay, what do I do now, kind of thing. But obviously, because I was in COVID, I was only allowed there for an hour, and then I had to go back home.
Yeah, quite strict. Oh, there were.
Yeah. It was that was difficult because you kind of get home and then you think,
Especially during the first part of COVID, they were a lot more strict.
Oh, massively, yeah. It was really bad. Like, no one was obviously allowed in. No one could come with us. No one was even allowed to sit at the hospital. It was just us two. And then he came, and I was back home again, knowing that I've got a son, and I weren't allowed there. It was a bit strange.
Yeah. How long was it until baby and mum were home?
So after a couple of days, so he had jaundice as well, and he came when he was born. He was £4.11, so he was tiny, like fitting that part of my arm. So he ended up in NICU, and he had to have his heart scanned and everything else that comes along with Down syndrome. So after it was about 2 days, 2 or 3 days, they said to me, "We've got you both a room, so you can stay together in the hospital and kind of be there." So he came out after a week, which we didn't think that he was going to be out that quick, and it worked out. So my family had obviously come up for the birth, weren't out, and they were due to go home on that Saturday. And then kind of Saturday morning, there were rumblings of us going home. And I think we came out at about 12 o'clock, so we managed to bring him out. My family met him as well, which was amazing. Came home, and that was kind of the start of us as a family.
Oh, that's good. How was I'd say first month, because that's probably the first month I'd say is the hardest, because you're trying to find the routines. And everyone wants to see the baby.
Yeah, and I think, again, I kind of thank COVID for that, because we couldn't really have a lot of people around. We had our bubble, so it kind of worked out quite well. But you're right, kind of trying to work out a routine. I'd booked a month off work, so that was fine. But trying to feed him, us both doing whatever else needed to be done, it's difficult. And then top of being on top of each other all of the time, I think COVID for me was the kind of downfall of us. I think we spent a lot of time together. I was working from home because obviously we weren't allowed in the office. She worked in retail, so none of the shops were open. So that was kind of the beginning of the end, if I'm honest.
How did you take to all the, say, dad duties, parent duties?
Surprisingly, I think, not for me surprisingly, but I think for a lot of other people surprisingly well. I've always been good with kids. Kids seem to gravitate towards me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like second nature to me, if I'm honest with you. Yeah. It was nappy changing doesn't bother me.
You manage with the night feeds.
So I'm a night person anyway. But it's surprising how knackering it is.
Yeah.
Even because at times, even if it weren't me doing the feeding, I'd wake up with her anyway, so she could pump, and I'd kind of hold him, and it's so tiring.
Yeah.
Even for dads, like, even though you're only holding the baby, there'd be times I'd fall asleep on the chair with him because I was exhausted. So God only knows how she felt as well, having to.
Yeah, it's hard to explain to people how incredibly.
Oh, massively.
I mean, that probably extends, I'd say, for the first 6 months. It's just you're living your life by 4 hours at a time.
You can't plan anything.
No, it's just... Yeah.
It's so stressful. And I think it was more difficult for us as well because he had heart surgery when he was 6 months old.
Wow, okay.
So we kind of knew quite early on that was going to be needed. So we had to kind of wait for that. Then he had the surgery and the recovery after that. Like, you couldn't pick him up how you normally would for 6 weeks. You have to try and keep a newborn baby as still as possible. I don't know how we managed it, but he recovered. I think we were out of hospital after 6 days, which still, I don't know how he's managed that. If I had heart surgery, I'd probably still be in there now. But yeah. He's such a strong little kid, and I think he gets me through a lot because knowing what he's already gone through, I know I can be better If he's managing it at 4 years old, there's no reason why I can't just manage a little bit of life issue.
So you mentioned earlier it was when you found out your ex was pregnant. That's when you started to notice things. From now that your child's born, was that still the case of you picking up on?
Yeah, I think massively. I think to me, it kind of felt like that I was doing everything. So I'd kind of finish work, then it would be, can you do this? Can you do that? He needs this, he needs that. And it just felt like and I know everyone having a newborn, your life changes massively anyway, but it was finish work, deal with the dog, deal with the baby, deal with the dog again. Stuff needed doing around the house because she was recovering from the surgery and all of that other stuff. And I just felt like I didn't have any time to myself, really. And that kind of continued all the way through till when we broke up. And I think the hardest thing for me was trying to explain it to people outside that didn't really come into the house. It's hard to not slag off as such, but say, I feel like I'm doing everything, and you can't really explain it, so people don't really buy into it. And I think even with my family at the time, they didn't necessarily truly believe me. But I think once the COVID restrictions slacked a little bit and they were able to come back up, I think they started seeing it themselves. So I'd come in from work. As soon as I walk in through the door, there's the baby, there's the dog. Just give me 5 minutes, let me get in, let me get changed, let me get a drink, let me just relax a little bit. I obviously want to see my son, but I just need a bit of time for me, and then I'll deal with everything else. And that started to cause a lot of friction between us.
So when you'd come home and you'd get past the baby and the dog, was it she just wanted a moment, or was it you now
I think
manage?
Yeah,
things?
I think it was in her eyes, and obviously she's going to have her own side of the story, which is fine. But to me, it felt like, right, I've had him all day. You're home now, so I can go and do whatever it is that I need to do, go and do housework, or which wasn't always the case, or I just need a bit of time for myself, which I understand to a point. Yes, you have had him all day, but then, and this is probably going to frustrate some people, but in my head, I was like, you're off on maternity, you've got all day, I've literally just walked in from work.
Yeah.
Just give us a couple of minutes and then I'll kind of be with you. But you can't say that to someone. No matter how much you think it, you can't say you're off, you're not working in a minute.
I mean, if I had the choice, being full-time at home and being full-time in work, generally work would be easier.
Yeah.
And you get to speak to other adults.
and that's the thing.
But coming home from work and then going straight into effectively that as well. And if you feel like you're doing it all the time.
Exactly. And I think that, so our dog, she's not hard work, but she needs a lot of attention. Like, she needs to be excited through the day. She needs to be entertained. And if you don't, she turns into this devil dog that just stands there and barks and nicks socks and nicks everything else. So I kind of get that having a baby, she couldn't do that. So, but she'd never walk the dog, which was a kind of another frustration, that I'd get home, instead of saying, right, here's baby, I'll take the dog out. So I can't control the dog, so you take the dog out. Then when you get back, you deal with the baby, and then I bought the dog for you.
Should have got a cat.
It was just such a bizarre thing to say. I was like, but we're together, so she's our dog, regardless of whether you bought her for me to help with how I was. It's effectively another baby having a dog, so let's share the responsibility.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the dog's still like it now. She's 9 years old. If I don't entertain her through the day, she just turned into this mental dog, to the point where like people at work now, they know that if the dog's barking, I need 5 minutes just to go and give her a game or something to eat or whatever it is. But it was always just, you do this, you do that. The house needs tidying, the washing up needs doing. There's some washing in the washer. Can you take that out? Can you take the washing off the line? I'm like, just chart. Just give me a minute.
Yeah. And I'm guessing this continued, so this feeling that you had probably kept building
and building. And I think, so I don't want to say well known, but because that's not a great way of explaining it, but people know me to have quite a short fuse, because I very rarely talk about my feelings properly. So I kind of suppress everything, and then there'll be some stupid catalyst. It could just be her saying, "Can you make me a drink?" And that will be the thing that tips me over the edge, and I just explode. You've done this, you've said this, and just go off. And once I start, it's very hard to kind of reel me back in.
Was you finding that was happening
a bit more often? Yeah, and I kind of suppressed a lot of frustrations, because I kind of thought, I get it. She started working from home as well. She started a beauty business, and so I was like, right, fine, I get it. I'm not going to say anything, but actually what I should have done is voiced it to someone, but I didn't kind of voice it to anyone other than somebody at work who I knew that person was having frustrations herself, and so we kind of talk about our feelings with each other, really, and that was the only place that I could vent what was going on.
Yeah. So how long did it continue up until the point of when you did eventually sort of come to an end as a couple?
So probably all the way through the pregnancy, up until he was probably 2-ish. Me and said person became quite close, and we'd always been close anyway. So I class her as, and still do, class her as one of my best friends. We started talking, and we started talking a bit more, and that eventually led to me having an affair with this other woman, because we clicked on a completely different level, and it was an outlet for me. And not only it was an outlet for me, I kind of saw in her the relationship that I wanted, even though I wasn't thinking about having a relationship with her originally. It was kind of like, this is what life should be like. I should be excited. I should be excited to speak to someone and not think, what's going to kick off now?
Yeah.
So we started the affair. I kind of lied to him. So I did used to go to the gym, and I'd always go late at night, even before the affair, because the gym was quieter. I could do my sets kind of on my own, no kind of waiting for anyone. I think how she found out was I'd started going to the gym, but I'd be longer than what I normally would. So she then kind of started to have her suspicions, to the point where one night I was with this other girl. We were just sat in a house, and we were just talking, having a nice conversation. I think I got 34 missed calls off my ex-wife.
Wow.
And I best kind of ring her back, because it could be about the little. And so rung her back, and she asked me where I parked the car when I went to the gym. So I knew what was happening. I knew straight away. Yeah, massively. So what had happened was, and she'll deny it, and she'll deny it to this day. She must have got a friend to drive past the gym to see whether the car was parked there. Car obviously wasn't parked there because it wasn't there. So then she'd asked me, and then I kind of said to the girl that I was with, I was like, look, she knows what's going on. I'm going to have to tell her. Like, we'd already made, at this point, we were kind of very much aware of how we felt about each other, and it was more than just sleeping together. So I went back and told her. About 11 o'clock at night, she'd asked me where I was. And when I first started talking to her, I was like, I'll just lie about it until the morning. And then in the morning, I'll deal with it then, because I just haven't got the energy.
You know, whip up something like, I've nipped to Tesco.
I could have said anything, do you know what I mean? But I think the problem
I met Barry.
I think the problem was I'd been gone for like 4 hours.
That is a
didn't
while.
realise. I completely lost track. And that's what kind of happened when I was with her. Like, time flew by because of, I was that kind of happy. I didn't think about time. And then after about an hour of talking to her, I was like, look, you know the truth. This is what I've done. This is where I've been. We talked and talked for another couple of hours, and then it weren't getting anywhere. So I left. And I think that night I'd gone back to the other girl's house and then sat with her and kind of explained what had gone on. So at that point, that was very much marriage is over, basically.
Yeah,
I knew that I wanted out, kind of thing.
You're past the point then.
Yeah, I think the last couple of years had obviously got too much. I was angry a lot of the time. Like, I got, even going into work, people could see it, and this kind of girl, she'd ask me what's wrong, and I'd tell her, like, she'd done this last night, she said this, and just, it was affecting kind of my whole life, and she'd made me see a completely different perspective on life, and I kind of saw what life could have been like at the time.
So, how did the fallout go?
Oh, it was horrible. It weren't great. So we'd argue all of the time. Access to him became difficult. So it got to the point where I'd only be allowed to either see him at the house with somebody there, or I was allowed to take him to the park on the estate, but one of the family members had to be there. I'm not, and even now, I'm still not allowed to go pick him up and take him somewhere. A dad has to bring him to me, or has to meet me at a soft play or wherever it is. And that again frustrated me, because I'd gone from being able to do whatever I wanted with him, seeing him all day, every day, seeing him whenever I wanted, to it's all now governed by you and your family, effectively. And they would quite literally, so my dad would sit in the car outside the park, her mum would sit on the bench inside the park, and I was like, I don't understand kind of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And like I say, that's still kind of ongoing now, which is not great for anyone, to be honest.
Do you see an end to that sort of situation where you can just have?
I'm starting to see an end to it. So kind of the first few months after I left, I'd always be back at the house. She would be working. I'd be sometimes on my own with him, but she'd be still there. And while I was with the girl that I was with, we just started having him round to our house. So I think my dad had him round there for like 2 hours, a couple of weekends. But then again, it was one of them moments where I kind of zoned out a little bit. So I put him back in the car, and we'd had a row about something else a few days before. And then I heard her say that I will stop you from seeing him, or I'll make it difficult. So I lost my rag and punched the wing mirror of a car. Not the best idea, not my kind of finest hour. Walked back into the house. She said this, and I've done this, and so me and the other girl started arguing. You shouldn't have done that. I know, but what do you want me to do? So she then reported that to the police.
Any signs of violence will get used against you. Anything.
Massively. And as much as I hate to say it, she obviously knows that, and I think it feels like sometimes she's trying to push my buttons to make me react. And I'd always react, whether it be on text, on the phone, face to face. I'd always react, and that hasn't kind of stopped, if I'm honest with you. But I kind of say to her, look, the reason I'm getting frustrated is because I'm not seeing him. But then it would just go round in circles. I'm not seeing him. You can only see him for a few hours. Don't think that's fair. I'm not seeing him. Lose me ragged. It would just be a vicious circle constantly. I could never get out of it.
It feels like you're being punished.
Yeah, because I think for me, I sat there and thought, I've gone from seeing him every single day. If he needed to go to the hospital, because he ends up in the hospital a lot, especially in the winter because of his heart. We have to be quite careful if he gets any sort of cold or infection. So if he starts tugging in under kind of his ribs, we go to the hospital. That's just what we do. And it would be me that takes him to the hospital, me that would stay there, me that would take time off work. And there's none of that now. I don't go to the hospital appointments. I think I went to one hospital appointment at Alderhay at some point last year. And again, we started arguing in the hospital. And then she called her dad because her dad was in the car park. I felt like her dad was quite aggressive towards me and kind of came and started pointing fingers and jabbing me in the chest. It's one thing I won't stand for is being threatened. So I definitely made some threats to him that other people could hear. Walked out of Alderhay because I thought I just need to get out, because if I don't, it's only going to end very badly for me. So I left the hospital, took myself out of the situation. That obviously then got used against me. Their side will be, I didn't threaten him. But then me and her dad had a conversation about it a couple of weeks ago, and I said, it's not, you can't tell me how I felt. You can't tell me that I didn't feel threatened, kind of thing. But that was all dealt with. So that was more pushback and not seeing him when I should do. But we're now in a position where I feel like we're moving forward.
That's good.
Which is good. And I think, so me and the other girl broke up, and I think that's been a big change for my ex-wife. So again, I suppressed everything around not seeing my son, and I'd lied through my teeth to this other girl about money and stress and all this other stuff, and that came out in a big explosion. So I lost her, which was difficult for me as well. So not only had I lost a girl that at the time I thought I was going to be with for kind of forever, I've also lost a best mate. But I got arrested then for, it was section 39, so causing fear of violence without using violence. So we'd had the argument, she'd gone to her friends. I tried to take an overdose that night. So she called the police to say, look, can you just go check on him? Make sure he's all right. They'd asked her what had happened. And they said, well, actually, an offence has taken place. So she was like, no, that's not why I'm calling you. I don't want him arrested. I just want you to go check. As soon as the police walked in, I knew straight away what was happening. One went outside. One was keeping me in the house. Took me away. So I think I was in the cells for 19 hours. Got questioned what had happened. I no commented that interview because I was guilty. Do you know what I mean? I'd shouted, I'd ranted, I threw things. So
yeah,
there's no point. So then I moved to London, stayed with my brother. My brother didn't want me basically staying on my own. So I think now she's seen that I've got some help. I'm not with said girl anymore. She's decided that things can start moving forward. So I now see him for, as of the next visit, 4 hours every other weekend.
Okay.
Her dad will no longer sit outside the house because that was the other thing. Wherever I was, he'd have to sit outside.
That'd feel a bit much.
And that used to affect me because so we had a meeting the other day and her reasoning for it was because you ain't got a car at the moment. If he needs to go to hospital, my dad's there. I'm like, I don't really buy that.
Ring an ambulance.
So it didn't really sit well with me, but we've kind of moved away from that a little bit now. Divorce is basically signed, sealed and delivered. So every kind of couple of weeks, we'll review it to see whether I'm allowed more time with him, which I think I will. I think that the only kind of stipulation they've put on it is I'm not allowed to lose my temper, which
just keep that,
just keep cool.
Keep that in check. Are you speaking to anyone about that?
So I am. I started to go to virtually. I've joined Andy's Man Club.
Okay.
So one of the blokes used to come to my work, so I know him quite well. So I started doing that virtually now as well.
How do you find it?
So I've been to a couple, and it's good, like because it's just men again. You feel a bit more relaxed, and I don't know why, but I feel more relaxed talking in a group because somebody can jump in and say, "Actually, do you know what?" And it's not just me one-on-one talking about my feelings. I find it very difficult, if I'm honest, to talk about my feelings. But in a group setting, it feels a little bit easier. And obviously, the group that you've set up now as well, that's.
You see other people doing it.
Yeah.
You see it's accepted.
Yeah. And you kind of see that it's not just you going through these problems. And I think that's the biggest issue for me, that sometimes it feels like men's problems and dad's problems get swept under the rug quite easily. And there's not really been a lot of support. But that's changing with groups like yours and this group and Andy's Man's Club. That's starting to change. It's going to be a slow process, but I know there's help now, which is the main thing.
I get a lot of people on a daily basis contact me. Quite a few of them are on, the edge, wanting to commit suicide, and a lot of them just want to speak to someone. They just want to open up, and once they've done that, but they never want to ring Samaritans.
I've tried it once, and I don't want to say they're not very good, but
I think they're concerned with, because they have them tags on the website saying, "Oh, if we believe that you can commit suicide, we'll have to get the police." And it gets it's like, well, I don't want to go down that route. I just want to speak to somebody, let it all out, and not then have to worry about more consequences that are going to get recorded and used against me and cause more problems.
And I think that's always been and probably still my concern now, that if I do relapse and there's one day that I just lose my rag, it's going to put me so much further back, even if it's just a one-off because of the stuff that I've done before. But now knowing that if I'm having a bit of a stressful day, there's groups that I can just message or reach out to. It's so much better.
Yeah, whether it's just have a conversation, general talk, or see how everyone else is doing, and it
takes your mind off it.
Oh, it could be a chat over the phone, and it can help to diffuse it a little bit and distract you. But no, it surprised me how many people there is out there that are struggling
massively. I don't think mental health is still there's still a big stigma attached to it, I think.
I never really. It was only in the last year or so. For me, it was like stress. It was always something everyone always talked about. I'm really stressed at work. I didn't understand it personally until last year when I felt the physical effects of stress. It's like, no, stress is something that actually affects the way you are physically.
Yeah.
If you feel it, you can feel stressed, but there's a difference between very busy at work and a lot on to actually, you're feeling the shakes and your heart's palpitating and you're struggling
Sweating.
or you. I've felt what real stress, and it's like no, it's a real thing, and your body reacts to it, and it doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, and I think, and there's still a long way to go. But ironically, I've been a mental health first aider. It's different seeing stuff in other people, and you don't really think about yourself. But there's still a lot of people that can't tell that difference. That actually they are just a little bit stressed, or actually that they're more than stressed and they kind of need immediate help. But I think groups like this and Andy's Man's Club as well are doing it the right way, and they're not just a bit like the Samaritans, right? We'll be here for you unless we can't actually deal with it, and we'll pass you over to the police, because that, like you say, that's kind of feels like what they do.
Yeah, you always then think, am I going to make this situation worse? If I say the wrong thing and it gets recorded and it's going to come back, and then for whatever reason you'll lose a bit of access.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the implications are. Oh, you're not doing too great. I tell you what, you need to spend some time on your own. Come back in a...
Yeah, and to be fair, so that's one thing she has said to me in the past, that so we'll kind of build the hours up, but you've moved back up here, so he needs to get used to your new house. You need to work on your mental health. I'm like, you can't say that to someone. The whole reason I'm in part of this situation is because I'm not seeing him.
Yeah. One thing that really helps that is actually having a routine, knowing how often you're going to see the kids, and it being as normal as possible, and having a nice, pleasant routine. For me, it's always never feeling like I'm being restricted contact.
Yeah, and that,
or it's being used against me in any way.
Yeah. So we had a meeting. So she won't talk to me on the phone, because she's worried that I'm going to lose my temper with her. Get that because of stuff that's happened before, but development conversations she won't have on the phone. It's all got to be on text because she wants it recorded. And she kind of said that, again, like if you lose your rag, I'm not going to stop you access, but to me it feels like she's using it to stop my access. And I said that I feel like you've used that as control for the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's like a power thing.
Yeah.
And
she obviously denied it, and that's fine. I suppose with everything, there's two sides to each story, and somewhere in the middle is what the actual truth is, which is fine, but I don't think either party looks at it from either side today. So
no. Well, it seems like you're on a path, whether it's you've got a while to go until you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, it's going to be slow, and it's probably going to be stressful. There's going to be bumps along the way, but hopefully there's a positive ending to it, which is good.
Well, so do you have regular contact with your ex, just through text?
So it's all done through app Close, or Close App. So one of the parenting apps. So it's not regular, I wouldn't say. We speak every now and then. I think one of my frustrations is that sometimes it can take 24 hours to reply, sometimes a bit more. The updates from her aren't really that great.
No.
He's been to nursery, he's had some food. That's really about it. She'll tell me if he's not well, and that's great. For me, I feel like there should be more. But we've kind of made this agreement now that I need to give her 24 hours to reply. And so far, that's worked. We are only kind of 2 days into that new agreement, so
yeah,
we'll see whether it sticks. I've obviously can't swear, can't lose my temper. As a Londoner, not swearing in itself is difficult. Just we do that on a daily basis, but I think the way that sometimes I put things can look aggressive. So I've got to change that. But hopefully the communication will get better. Contact will get more. and that's all I really want.
One thing someone mentioned to me a while ago is so I've got 2 kids, boys, 8 and 4, and they said, regardless of what your situation is now, when the kids get to senior school, the situation is going to change. The kids get growing up, the dynamic, they're going to a different school, they'll be travelling on their own. And again, when they turn 16, it's going to shift again. And once they're 18, they're adults. So they can do what they want.
Yeah.
So regardless of where you're at now, at a certain point, it's going to come to some sort of natural end.
Yeah.
So it's always something like that to have.
It's just waiting in it, I think. And
That is the difficult one. You have to get someone else's approval. You have to meet their requirements.
And I don't. Hopefully, all of that kind of starts to tail off. She did say that she wants to get to a point where I can go to the house, pick him up, take him out, which is positive. And without sounding doubtful, I hope that wasn't her just saying that on that meeting because it felt like the right thing to say. Hopefully it's not, and hopefully we both do what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
A couple of years down the line, and he's always going to be a bit more, going to be a bit different to everybody else because of the Down syndrome, and his development's going to be a bit behind, so it might take him longer to understand. But I think that's where we as parents, the two of us, need to find a quicker and better way of communicating and make sure we're doing the right thing for him.
So it feels like we're pretty much towards current day and towards the end. So I've kind of got a few questions to more wrap it up. I'll probably shift them a little bit and change them slightly. Does what you're currently going through now, not having free contact with your kids and having to go through the divorce, does that make you hesitant for future relationships with anyone?
Yeah, I think it does. So obviously the last relationship that recently ended shouldn't have ended like that. We should have really still been together, but because of how I had to keep things bottled up, that caused issues in that one. And I think going forward, I'm worried that I'm going to do the same thing. So I've taken a step back from any kind of relationship at the minute. So it will be a while before I get into another one.
It's probably a good decision.
I think so.
Your focus should be on the kids.
Yeah, 100%.
I almost certain that if you got into a new relationship, that would cause issues.
Oh, massively. Like trying to explain to somebody else where I'm at with him and her seeing that I'm with somebody else.
I think you're at a point where anything that can annoy your ex, you need to avoid.
Oh, massively. I just need to sit in my house, don't talk to anyone, go shopping, that's it.
Knowing what you know now, I mean, I'm going to do this in 2 parts. Would you have done anything different in the relationship?
Yes, so I think I definitely would have spoke a bit more. And even, I still think it would have ended the same way. I still don't think we would have been together, but I would have left the relationship in a different way and not done what I had done.
And I think you may have already answered it. But from the point of separating, would you have acted any different or done things differently?
Yeah, for sure. I think just trying to communicate with her for a start, not letting little digs get to me. Just not ignoring her as such, but just letting it slide over me and just keep child focused. This is what I need to do. Whatever you're saying, I know why you're saying it. And also probably reach out to a group a lot sooner than what I did, for sure.
Would you ever get married again?
No. I say no. It would have to be an exceptional person, I think, to to make me want to get married again.
Yeah.
I'm not in any rush to get married again. I'm just going to do me for a little bit. And if that happens in the future, fine.
Would you have any more kids?
I think I probably would. So I'm just turned 39, which I'm getting on a bit, but I don't feel like I'm too old.
Guys have plenty more time.
Yeah, exactly. And I've now got time to get my fitness back and all of that other stuff, and so I can actually run about if I was to have another baby. But it's not off the table.
Okay. No, I think quite a few women would be happy about that.
I hope so. Just in a year's time, maybe.
Yeah. And the last one that I mentioned to you before we started is, do you have 2 words to wrap up this whole episode, and that'll be the name of the episode?
I think for me, it's well needed. Yeah, I think it's been good to talk to somebody that's outside of my situation, and it's made me think of a few other things and things that I should have done that I've probably not really thought about in the past. So there's going to be some more changes, I think, going forward.
Okay. And I think that's it.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers, mate.